Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm doing the jungle tier list for patch 13.20. If you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. To begin with, there were a lot of changes within the jungle this patch. One of the biggest amount of changes we've actually seen in a while. So let's cover them. To begin with, Morgana was adjusted, so her ult is a bit better, later ranks, and her W does more damage to jungle monsters. It also had a slight AP ratio increase on top of this, so that was also quite nice. For nerf towards her E, like 2 seconds early on, not a huge amount of difference in jungle. It doesn't really matter that much. So, Morgana is actually just going to go into the A tier. She is really good as a pick. She can clear the jungle really fast. She does struggle with the fact that her damage isn't going to be as consistent as a lot of other champions, and she does need good setup to be useful within team comps, but she's definitely a viable pick now. Liandry's into Rylai is what I'd recommend. Picking up the Dark Seal, really nice, 10 more health on that item. Alongside that, you can then go into Medjay, and then third item, looking at something like a Zhonya, Rabadon, Void Staff. There are options there. Really good kind of like build options, especially off the Liandry Rylai. So yeah, definitely works really well as a pick. The other change was Zed had his WCD go up by 3 seconds later on, so it hurts his ability to WMAX second, really encouraging EMAX again. Overall, this does hurt him. Alongside that, there were changes towards jungle, which did affect him quite heavily. He is going to be moving down to the C tier. Bel'Veth is also just going to go from the S+ tier all the way down to the C tier. She got hit by a truck. Her damage reduction going down massively, her DPS going down a lot of her damage got nerfed as well. In compensation, they made it so her E crit, but it wasn't anywhere near enough. So the build is still going to be something like Kraken Stridebreaker, but now it's significantly worse. There is a chance that Kraken Ginsu's is her best in slot. I haven't tested it, but there is good data to kind of suggest that this might be a good option. I'd recommend trying it in practice too, seeing what kind of damage numbers you get out of it, feeling for being a bit more squishy, but past that, I would just recommend dropping Bel'Veth for the moment. She'll probably get buffed in this upcoming patch 13.21, alongside probably some nerfs towards other junglers, but yeah, she's not in a great spot at the moment. Moving on to the non-changes within this patch, Graves going to go up to the S tier. He is really strong with Youmuu's. He's one of the best junglers in the game now. Youmuu's alongside Collector, LDR, BT, Black Cleaver, all these items work really well for him. He does a huge amount of damage, clears really quickly, and yeah, the Youmuu's lethality makes his burst potential really insane. Maokai also going to go back up to the S tier. He's in a really good spot as well. The jungle changes really helped tank junglers with the resists on the pet going up by a huge amount. Alongside that, they took away the AD ratio, so we will see a lot of AD assassins go down as well. Maokai, yep, really good with like the phase rush, the aftershock, options there. I'd recommend Radiant Virtue rushing now instead of the Demonics, but Demonics is still a good second pickup. You can go things like the Sunfire, Thornmail, Abyssal. There are good tank options for him. He is in a really good spot and pretty easy to play. Nocturne going to drop down to the S tier. Like I said, AD going off the jungle item alongside other changes within the jungle has hurt Nocturne a bit. He's still a really good jungler though. Really values the likes of Stridebreaker and Shojin, and it makes him really powerful. Moving on, Elise is going to go up to the A tier. She got buffed not too long ago. It wasn't a huge amount, but the changes this patch alongside those buffs definitely did help her. She is in a better spot, moving up to the A tier. Sejuani going to go from the C tier to the A tier. The tank changes really helped Sejuani. She has the passive, which allows her to be more tanky within the jungle, and the resist she gains off that allows her to clear a lot faster. So Sejuani moving up to the A tier. Zac is going to be the first replacement in the S+ tier. He is in an insane spot right now. He can clear the jungle really quickly. He does a huge amount of damage. The amount of accessible CDR within the game means he can rotate his combo really frequently. I'm not surprised if this champ gets nerfed next patch, unless they do take away a lot of that health and resist scaling off the pet. But yeah, he is in a really good spot. Lots of access to CDR, lots of tank stats, good with Demonics, good with Radiant, good options all around for him. Rammus is also going to be moving from the A tier to the S+ tier. This might be surprising, but Rammus is fucking broken. He is like a 57% win rate champion at the moment. You can play him into most things. He used to be just primarily weak into AP, but now he can kind of work against AP as well. He clears insanely fast. He does a huge amount of damage. If you're going things like the Thornmail and the Sorks, he does as much damage as an AP carry. He is broken. Just play here as champion. He's easy, and yeah, it's free LP for the most part. He does get countered by Morgana. That might be a worthwhile ban, especially with a lot of people trying to pick it up, but yeah, in an insane spot right now. Rammus is really good. Shaco is someone who I wanted to talk about. Shaco with AP is still an insane champion, borderline S+ tier. Shaco with AD, not great, kind of like towards B tier, so I definitely recommend primarily going AP Shaco. I know most people do still go for lethality. I mean, hopefully that will change next patch, and we'll actually see like some of these AD junglers get a bit better as like other things get brought down, but for the moment, he's not in a great spot if you go AD, really good if you go AP. Ivern, also really insane at the moment, really good as a support item with like the Moonstone. You can still kind of go AP. Dark Seal, Medjai, that's still really good for him. Redemption, Stuff of Flowing Water, Ardent Center, there are good options here for Ivern. Also another champion bordering S+ tier. These two are definitely these two are definitely two of the closest. Alongside that, Briar and Fiddle still really strong champions, and yeah, Graves still really is now really good with the Yomus. Other AD champs I want to talk about, Kha'Zix's going to move down to the B tier. Kha'Zix took quite a hit with the AD jungle nerfs. He is going to move down as he is one of the primary ones at the moment. Alongside that, Rengar also going to drop down to the B tier. They clear slower, going to hurt them a decent amount. Hurts their ability to be proactive on the map and look for those picks, which they do require to snowball within the game. Also, snowballing went down, so these two champs are also hurt by that. Same goes for Talon, same goes for Kiana. Both these champions weaker now as they struggle clearing the jungle as well as they used to. Alongside that, snowballing is lower within the game. Other champions which are punished by that, Kindred, not quite enough to be moved down, but still definitely hurt by it. Yi is another one kind of close to the C tier, definitely did get hurt by the snowballing adjustments. Tank Shyvana still is probably going to be the optimal way to go now. I haven't looked into the data that much, but with the tank changes alongside AD nerfs, tank and AP will be her primary ways to go. Other champions, Pantheon, gonna clear a lot worse after the changes. Also requires snowballing as one of his primary ways of like carrying games. Neferi basically gone from the jungle at this point. Wasn't great to begin with, but kind of falling at this point. Wukong, kind of stay fairly power neutral, but I'm still not a huge fan of this champion. He's a lot better in competitive, but then he's kind of fallen out of competitive anyway. The only real team we saw pick him was GAM for Vietnam. But yeah, just still not really that great in solo queue. Definitely kind of in a weird spot where he does need a bit of kind of help to put him into a spot where he's competitive in the top lane and in the jungle. Other champs, Hecarim, not as good as he used to be, but not quite a B tier champion. Still can kind of, I still believe he does go Shojin Rush. There isn't really any other great options for him. You'd go something along Shojin into Stridebreaker. That will be his standard core. If I have a look at the data, yep. However, Yomu's definitely looks like a competitive option now. Yomu's into Shojin, or Shojin into Eclipse, or Shojin into Yomu's. I would recommend giving it a go, trying some of his build options. Honestly, Shojin into Eclipse might be the way to, Shojin into Yomu's might be the way to go. You like the lethality, you like the movement speed, you like the stats of Shojin. It's really nice in the amount of CDR you can get. You can rotate a lot of combos, be a really competitive frontline bruiser option, and then Yomu's allows him to stick to targets, outputs a huge amount of DPS, so that might be a really good build option for him. Alongside that, you can then go like shoulders first if you are going that Yomu's route. Of course, if you're going Stridebreaker, picking up something like the Black Cleaver, the Sterex Gauge, these items are really nice for bruiser champions. He definitely is more competitive as a late game option now. He's not too strong in the early game. That is still going to be where his weaknesses lie, but yeah, definitely a lot better into the mid to late game. Champs, which kind of stayed fairly strong this patch, of course, like Echo being fairly good within the jungle still. Lilia, kind of sleeper in the jungle right now, really strong pick right there. Jarvan, really strong AD champion, simple to play. If you're going something like Stride or Gore Drinker, it's Spirit Shojin, then he has really strong combo rotations. Nunu is another one of the tanks who definitely does benefit from the changes, has really good objective taking as well. Talia, also still a really good jungler, bordering S tier. I'm just not willing to put her here, as she can be kind of harder to play, and you do want to pick her in the right circumstances, otherwise you can struggle within games. Lee Sin and Viego did and Kane did kind of get tagged by the AD changes, but not quite enough to really drop them out of the A tier as well. So yeah, that is kind of what I want to cover. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.